Hello, students. Welcome back after a very long gap. So, let's see what are the topics that we can cover out before the net examination. So, today I'll be thinking of taking a topic which is mostly related to all the competitive examination, that is, the concept on poverty. So, let's see what is actually poverty. So, before giving you the exact definition, or you can say the conceptualized meaning of poverty, let's see what are the things that could be included in this entire topic. So the entire topic would be divided into various parts. So let's me first talk about the meaning and different types of poverty, then we'll go to different theories of poverty. Then of course the concept poverty as a feedback system, then culture of poverty. So within the theories of poverty, we discuss the Marxian perspective and the Weberian perspective. After completion of all this, let us discuss some of the causes and also try to give you some of the remedies which are being given by various scholars in different types of books. So let's get started. So what is actually poverty? Poverty is actually a socio-economic problem in India. If you look at the definition of Adam Smith, a person is rich or poor according to the degree in which one can afford to enjoy necessaries and amusement of life. So let me say that to the degree you are being fulfilling the luxuries of life would be defined as poverty according to one person's own term, right? So we will be going with this concept in a better way, or you can say the term of poverty in a very depth meaning when we will be discussing two types of poverty. So basically poverty is that condition which an individual could not maintain a proper living. So if we look at a general concept, we'll definitely say whenever we could not able to fulfill our needs, then we can say we are in the poverty line itself. So let me discuss types of poverty. The first one is absolute poverty. It actually involves whether basic human needs are fulfilled or not in order to maintain physical efficiency. So the basic needs means the nutrition, that is the intake of calories and protein, or you can just shelter. So these are the few basic needs which are measured by quality of dwelling, right? So if you say that shelter, whether what type of dwelling are being provided to an individual, or you can say the health is measured by different factors such as infant mortality, life expectancy, and so on. So even some of the scholars define absolute poverty are much beyond the subsistence level and include the idea of basic cultural needs, that is education, security, standard of living, etc. So today if we look at poverty, it's not only confined with the basic needs. Apart from this, we also required some of our basic mm, requirements, that is education. Definitely if we are not educated, we can say that we are poor. Then security as well as standard of living. But the concept of absolute poverty is widely criticized, as it is difficult to measure poverty in terms of basic human needs. All society's assumption on basic needs would be differ. Like you can say, why it has been criticized? Because for you maybe the concept of poor is different as per me. So let me explain with an example. Let's say nutritional intake of nomadic people of Kalahari Desert will be vary from Western society. So here I would give you an example of two different class of society. First one is the people residing in Kalahari Desert as compared to Western people. And similarly, adequate shelter in city living would be differ from dwelling in traditional agriculture society, right? So you can say in both the examples we find it the needs of people living in desert would definitely be different as compared to the people living in the city life. So this from this we came to know that absolute poverty could not be able to provide a true definition of poverty. Means mm, you say, suppose the poverty that is com- for the nomadic people, it could not be compared with the Western people, right? So, for instance, for us, having a refrigerator is a common, right? So there even there are many sections of society who feels that we don't have a car means we're poor, but this is not applicable to the people who are living in a tribal village, or you can say we're living in a very isolated areas, right? So with this concept of absolute poverty we cannot exactly define the proper meaning of poverty. Hope it's clear. Next come relative poverty. Relative poverty has actually replaced the idea of absolute poverty. It is measured in terms of situation of particular society. So we can say there are definition of poverty that would change from time to time. Let's see an example of again in Western society. Luxuries became comfort and comfort became their necessary. So for Western society people, luxury is something like that. Okay, fine. We people are being afforded, right? Means if you cannot afford means it's a big thing for them. Let me be more clear. Today, products and services such as uh, the same example that I've given earlier, refrigerator, running water, etc. It's became our necessities, like. But these things are not included in the category of necessities for the nomadic people. Same thing, relative poverty means you can say related to other. Whatever the concept of poverty is related with one society may not be compared with the other, relation in relation to. So with this I would like to quote Peter Son's words, who said poverty is related to the needs and demands of a changing society. So let me give an example. Before 50 years back we would say that basic needs are, if we cannot fulfill the basic need means we are poor. But today, apart from basic needs, we also require education and so on. Let's just see how the concept of poverty has been changing over the times. So that has been focused by the scholar itself. Next comes subjective poverty. Subjective poverty is actually the third category of poverty, and it refers either a group or individual whether they are poor or not. Means they are subjective in nature. So, subjective poverty actually depends on them who define the poverty. They might feel or see the standards that they are required to live in are inadequate, hence, they are poor. Means if you feel your needs are not being fulfilled, you are poor, you think you are poor, and if somebody else think that okay fine my basic needs are fulfilled means I don't want any other luxury items, for them they are not poor. Means it is subjective to one's nature, it's depends on one's opinion. Okay, so let me give an example here. A wealthy individual suddenly reduce its position to middle class, okay, due to some of circumstances. So that individual may feel they may be poor because their basic standards are not being fulfilled, or you can say the basic standards are go down. So their lifestyle and income would regard themselves as subjectively poor according to them, right? So this is about subjective poverty, means it is relative to related to someone, uh, relative poverty, right? So these are the few different types of poverty. With the help of these types of poverty, you can actually conceptualize the meaning of poverty. So poverty is relative to other, subjective in nature as well as absolute in nature. So that's all for today. Hope you could able to make it out whatever I would like to try to discuss. So that's all for today. Thank you.